just recorded a short video on burial policies. In this video, you will learn 1, what happens if you don't have a burial policy. 2, what happens if you do have a burial policy in place. And 3, how you can incorporate a burial policy into your plan. So Ryan, you're a benefit specialist with McIntyre Financial.
I am.
Okay, and you help provide people with burial policies, correct?
I do.
I want to tackle those 3 questions. What happens if you don't have a burial policy in place? What happens if you do? And 3, how you can incorporate that into your overall financial plan.
Awesome.
And why you should. So 1, what happens if I don't have a burial policy in place? And what is a burial policy?
What happens is you leave the burden of a funeral on your loved ones. So they're already grieving. They're already, they already have everything going on.
Sure.
To where they're focused on the loss of a loved one. They're not focusing on expenses or anything like that. Having a burial policy will enable them to have the financial freedom to afford your funeral, and also carry out your wishes.
So you're not putting a burden on the kids or other family members to pay, right, or to come up with those resources. It's not coming out of necessarily your inheritance that you're passing on or other overall estate, right?
Yeah.
Otherall. That's a combination of those 2 things.
Yeah.
Or, and plus, I think it's peace of mind.
It is.
You know that this is taken care of. If I had a checklist, it would be on my checklist of things to take care of.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Now, the beneficiary of a burial policy could be an individual.
Yeah.
But if it's an individual, then that person really has that money.
Yeah.
And it's up to them whether they want to spend it for burial.
Yeah, you want
Right?
to. Yeah, you want to.
It could be a funeral home.
Yeah.
It could be a funeral home. That's what I've seen many times is we just make the funeral home the beneficiary of that policy. Then you go ahead and have your plans in place.
Yep.
Sometimes you can go ahead and get a pre-price guarantee locked in.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly right. Because sometimes it'll increase. Funerals are going up and up and up.
Oh, they are. And inflation right now. I mean,
it's insane.
Are they up 20% this year? I don't know. Or 30? Who knows? Right? So you could lock in. And one way to lock in is also to irrevocably sign it over.
Yep.
So you make it irrevocable, and the beneficiary is the funeral home.
Yeah.
So you've taken care of that. You've really taken care of that and not put that burden on someone else.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to come out of pocket your own money to do that, right? Lump sum. You're paying a premium payment, I believe, which is a small payment.
It is very.
Usually it's a very extremely affordable. Rarely anyone out there who can't afford a burial policy.
Yeah, and you can get it at an older age.
Sure.
Yeah. It's accessible for elderly people and people with high risk.
Sure. So a burial policy is something that pays for burial, obviously, right? Second part of that, what happens, or second thing, what happens if you do have a burial policy in place? We've kind of already covered that, but let's lay it out there specifically and plainly for everyone out there watching.
Well, people don't usually think of the cost that comes in that are accrued when you do die.
Sure.
There's a burial fee. There's cemetery fees. There's music fees. There's hearse fees. There's just a plethora of different costs that the flower arrangements is everything.
Sure.
It costs money.
Right.
And people don't think of that. They don't plan on that. But this will cover it. So your loved ones, like I said, will not have to think about doing that. So if you have it and it pays for it, then it's paid for.
Sure.
And it's easy. And if, like, let's say you wanted to get cremated, or let's say you wanted to be buried normally.
Right.
Your wishes could be easily carried out. They can't be thinking about which one's cheaper.
Right. You're not forced into, say, a cremation or something like that because you don't want to.
Exactly.
Right? You choose that because you want to, and you've got that covered. Right. So I think it's just about peace of mind, freedom, and taking responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a huge part of it. It's personal responsibility instead of passing that responsibility on to a loved one.
Yeah. I wouldn't want my wife to have to deal with my funeral. I would want her to be able to be like, just have her time to grieve, not necessarily focus on spending the money to bury me.
So third part, okay? How can someone easily incorporate a burial policy into their plan?
Come talk to me.
There's no health screen. It's not like health insurance. There's no hurdles or barriers to getting one.
Like I said,
Yeah,
that's
you
why
can roll someone into that plan fairly easy.
fairly
correct?
easy, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So it's just like I said previously, the old age doesn't really have a factor, and if you're a high
So it
risk,
doesn't matter how old you are.
No.
Right? It doesn't matter your age. Okay.
It doesn't matter if you're sick or terminally ill, you can still
Pre-existing conditions,
pre-existing
not a
condition.
thing.
Yeah,
Right.
You can just get the policy.
And how can they contact you to get that policy, Ryan?
704-218-9223.
Or you can email Ryan at info at mymcfi.com. That's mymcfi.com. mymcfi.com. Check us out on that website too.
Yeah, and look us up on
mymcfi.com.
Facebook as well.
All social media, we're there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you coming
thank
in,
you so
talking
much.
about burial policies in place. I know it's going to give your clients at McIntyre Financial a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
thank you.
Yeah.